The story of Detroit has been one of economic strength as it led the country in auto production for much of the 20th century, of years of decline, and most recently of its rebuilding. That story adds another chapter today with the announcement of the Detroit Center for Innovation, a $250 million project to be built in downtown Detroit under the auspices of the University of Michigan, related companies, and Olympia Development. Welcome now three of those behind the project: Stephen Ross, founder and chairman of related companies, and with us now, Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. So welcome to both of you. Steve, thank you so much for being here. We've talked about a version of this project before, but describe it for our audience, exactly what you're doing.
Well, at the heart of the project is the Innovation Center for the University of Michigan, which is probably a 200,000 square foot building, but there'll be housing for students. It's for graduate students, as well as incubator space. But that'll really just be the catalyst for a much, much larger project. The Illich organization has really assembled over 300 acres of land in downtown Detroit. There's mostly vacant. They use for parking lots, mostly. There's some other older buildings on the site which will be rehabbed. But it'll really be the basis for a large-scale mixed-use project. So the impact on Detroit will be fantastic in creating a really new city, if you will, or a neighborhood that's a live, work, play neighborhood right adjacent to or part of downtown.
You in the past have drawn the analogy to what's being done at Roosevelt Island here that then Mayor Mike Bloomberg developed here, our owner and founder. But is that what it's going to look like? It's going to be like an industrial park?
Well, I mean, it's not an industrial park. The school is a very iconic building of 200,000 feet, mostly for graduate students, as I said. But the buildings around it will all be part of a kind of a downtown area. As you know today, people want to live in downtowns. It's all about that and finding those kind of locations. But to find a location the size of this, with all the facilities built in, I mean, it's like no other place I could say in the world, because you have all four sports teams all playing in stadiums that are adjacent to the site. You have all the opera, the music hall, all the culture, all adjacent to the site and part of it, as well as the entertainment with the theater, the Fox Theater, and other theaters there. It's an incredible site that, you kind of, as a developer, you dream of what you can do and the impact you can have on a city. And the impact you can have on a city like Detroit is tremendous. It's transformational.
Steve, of course, is a native of Detroit. He knows that the Fox Theater is an iconic theater in downtown Detroit. And also, this will be close to the Little Caesars Arena, which is owned by Mike Illich. Let's go to you, Mayor Duggan. Explain in a larger sense what this can mean for the city and the metropolis of Detroit.
Well, a big reason for doing it was your last guest, Jim Farley. Ford Motor Company is renovating the long-abandoned train station. They're going to bring 5,000 employees and contractors who will be designing the electric and automated vehicles of the future just down the street. They want to know, where's the talent pool coming from to compete with Tesla, to compete with China? A mile or two away, General Motors has Factory Zero, where they're building the electric Hummers and Silverados in the city of Detroit. Stellantis just opened a new Jeep plant that I know they will go electric to in the near future. We have Waymo installing self-driving vehicle systems in the city of Detroit. And then you start to look at the financial side, the entrepreneurial side. We are going to have a University of Michigan graduate program right here in the city that's going to feed the talent to the companies of the future. And I think what Stephen is doing is going to be transformational for us. I really do.
So, Mayor Duggan, just to pick up on what you said, give us a sense of the scope here, not just of this project, which, as I understand, is a catalyst, but more largely, what kind of population will be infused back into Detroit? Because you and I both know it has been depopulated since the 60s.
Well, if you came here right now, there's probably 2,000 or 3,000 housing units being built across this city. So young people, as Stephen mentioned, want to be in urban areas. But the other thing is going to be this. The top talented people in undergrad programs around the country in finance and engineering and software design are going to look at this graduate program at the University of Michigan in downtown Detroit with immediate internships and jobs. And we're going to be a magnet for that kind of talent. And we're located, this new site, directly across the street from Cass Tech High School, the most prestigious public high school in Detroit, and is going to be a pathway for the top talent from the city to stay in the city. And so it is going really, I think when you look back 20 years, this is going to be one of the major developments in Detroit's history.
I think what's really important is that I've told a few people about it in the tech corporations, and my good friend Bill McDermott, CEO of ServiceNow, has made a commitment to come to Detroit. They've already announced it after we had dinner, and I showed him what we were doing. And at that point, I met him when he was at SAP, and as you know, he ended up at Hudson Yards, and they were very happy there. But when he saw what Detroit has to offer, the talent pool, and the fact that he has decided to put a big investment in Detroit, and will be moving, a large segment of people there.
Oh, you mentioned Hudson Yards.
Yes.
Obviously, you're very much identified with Hudson Yards. How is Hudson Yards doing, given what's going on with COVID? Are you repurposing the use of some of that space?
Well, I mean, yes, we are repurposing the use of the Neiman Marcus space and the retail, and we have great demand, and actually we'll be able to announce a couple of those deals right in January to occupy all the roughly 400,000 feet that was occupied by Neiman Marcus. So all the rest of the office is almost all 100% leased. We get the highest rents in the city. It just shows you that people really want to live in a new live, work, play environment. And I think that's what we're looking to do. I think that's going to be what cities are looking for, because of the resiliency that comes with that. And but that's a whole, urban initiative. But I think Detroit, in creating this district in this area with everything built in already, the infrastructure there, where really young people are going to want to live there, the talent will be there, and it'll really have a major impact.
So, Mayor Duggan, let's go back to Detroit on that very subject, and that is how investable is Detroit right now for people, developers like Stephen Ross, to come in and invest in, for example, high-class offices?
Well, we are starting to see interest from companies who have got all of their employees in a city with very high housing costs, very high cost of living, very difficult commuting patterns, and you can come to Detroit with low-cost housing. You can move around quickly, and as Stephen says, you move into downtown Detroit. It's the only place in America where downtown you can walk to professional football, baseball, hockey, and basketball, all in that surrounding area. It is a very exciting place to be right now, and for the companies looking to say, I want to open up a headquarters and get access to Midwest talent, I think they're going to find Stephen's project very attractive.
Mayor Duggan, let me ask you one very specific question. That's about microchips, because I think you have said you want Detroit area to be a supplier, a manufacturer of microchips. How's that coming?
Well, there's no question. I don't think the auto industry understood the microchip supply chain as well as they should have when they started. But I've spent a lot of time with GM, Ford, and Stellantis leadership. They're totally focused on it now. We're interested in batteries. We're interested in parts for batteries. We're interested in microchips. We just had an announcement of another 500 jobs for Lear Seating to go supply GM's Factory Zero, and we're in several others. So we're in competition every day for these part suppliers. A lot of other cities in competition, but Detroit's been winning more than our share.
Yeah, cities are in competition for your attention as well, Stephen Ross. Let me talk about New York versus Florida right now, particularly with the New York Times piece today that I found at least fairly alarming about how New York is really lagging behind and coming back after the COVID. When you're looking at investing, you're looking at some competition from Florida, about going into Florida, as well as New York. Are you making more investments in Florida right now than New York?
Yes, I mean, today there's almost like a gold rush going on in Florida. I think a lot of that is really because of the politics in the Northeast today. And I think we're all waiting to see what happens in New York and New York State. There's reason for optimism, but I think, when you look at the tax situation and everything, and with COVID, I think it really has opened up Florida. And we see many, many corporations or private equity firms, investment banking firms, wealth management moving to Florida and Palm Beach County, and both Miami actually. And tech is really looking very hard at Miami. It attracts young people, and everybody's searching for talent. It's where talent wants to live is where the jobs will be and where corporations will go.
One last one is a point of personal privilege. My Wolverines.
Our Wolverines.
Our Wolverines. Yeah, you have a lot of claim to the Wolverines. Going up against Georgia on New Year's Eve, what are your predictions, your expectations? It's been quite a year for us.
It's been a great year, and I mean, they're coming down to Miami. It's what's interesting. They're playing in my stadium, so it really makes it really exciting for me. And I, being the optimist and but really believing in it and seeing the way they've really grown throughout the year, I'm very optimistic that Michigan can go all the way.
So, Mayor Duggan, this isn't just Stephen Ross and me. You're welcome in here for the last word on our Wolverines.
I'm a diehard Wolverine, and I was at the Big Ten championship, and I'm a believer. I think this is our year.